Did you guys know that almost 90% of new truck drivers quit within their first year? Now, think about that for a second. 9 out of 10 people who spend the time, the money, and all that effort to get their CDL are done before that first anniversary on the road. Why is that? Is it the money, the lifestyle, or do recruiters and schools sell people a dream that just doesn't exist anymore? Well, in this video, we're going to break down the real reason why many truck drivers give up. And if you're thinking about getting your CDL or in your first year right now, stick with me because this might help you avoid becoming a part of that statistic. Now, let's start with the expectations versus the reality of being a CDL truck driver. When most people imagine trucking, they picture freedom. They picture seeing the country, open highways, good money, and even a little bit of adventure. Recruiters fuel this image by telling you things like, first year drivers make $80, $90, $100,000, or you'll be paid to travel. But here's the reality. The freedom part is not so much. Your time is tightly controlled by dispatchers, electronic logs, and tight delivery windows. You're not sightseeing most of the time. You're racing against that clock. And the see the country part, sure, you'll see it, but you'll see it from a highway shoulder while you're stressed out, tired, and looking for parking. You're not pulling over at Yellowstone with a truck and a trailer. And that $80,000 a year for the first year, you're not going to see that. Almost nobody touches that number. Most rookies are lucky if they make $60,000, $70,000 their first year. And that's if they survive long enough to get consistent miles. The gap between what's promised and what's delivered is huge. And that disappointment alone drives a lot of people out of trucking their first year. Now, let's also talk about pay, because this is one of the biggest shocks. Most rookies are paid by the mile, anywhere from 40 to 50 cents per mile. That sounds pretty okay, right? Do the math. A new driver might only run 1,800 to 2,200 miles a week starting out. That's $630 to maybe $1,100 before taxes. And here's the kicker, guys. All that time you sit at a dock waiting to be unloaded, stuck in traffic, broken down on the side of the road, stuck due to bad weather, that is unpaid. You could be working a 70-hour week and bringing home the equivalent of a minimum wage with all those hours that you work. Recruiters love to show you paychecks from top drivers who are running max miles, but rookies rarely get those loads. They're at the bottom of the totem pole, waiting for whatever dispatch throws at them. The good paying freight is reserved for experienced and safe drivers. Imagine working 12 to 14 hours a day and opening your paycheck to see $400 after tax, whatever else comes out of that check. For a lot of people, that's a breaking point. They decide this isn't worth it and they quit. The second reason why drivers quit is simply the lifestyle. Being away from home for weeks at a time is absolutely brutal. You miss birthdays, you miss your kids' games, you miss your spouse. The loneliness can eat at people. Some can handle it, but most people in this world are extroverts and they are not built for that kind of life. And there's the health side. Truck stops don't serve salads, guys. You're living on fast foods, energy drinks, and whatever else you can grab quick. A lot of rookies are going to gain about 20 to 30 pounds their first year. High blood pressure, bad sleep patterns, back pain, it all piles up fast, guys. Sleep is another killer as well. You're trying to rest in a noisy truck stop, or worse, in a moving truck if you're a team driver. You never fully feel rested when you're in that truck, guys. And when you're running on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, every day feels like survival mode. That lifestyle is why a lot of people who are excited at first suddenly say, nope, this isn't the life for me. And also, here's another thing that people don't realize. Trucking isn't just driving. It's 50% driving, 50% everything else. You're a mechanic when something breaks down. You're a secretary filling out paperwork and keeping track of logs. You're a customer service rep when you're dealing with dispatchers, shippers, and receivers. You wear a lot of hats as a truck driver, and it's up to you to get that freight delivered. The hours of service rules dictate your every move, and if you get delayed at a shipper, you run out of hours and lose your load. If you're stuck in traffic, you don't get paid, but those hours are still burning. And don't even get me started on backing. New drivers are terrified of those tight loading docks. Everybody's watching you, you've got other trucks honking at you, you've got zero space to work with. The stress of that alone makes people want to go ahead and hand in those keys. On top of that, dispatchers can be ruthless. They don't care. To them, you're truck number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They want that freight moved, and they don't care how you feel. You say you're tired, they say the load has to be delivered. The constant pressure can burn out rookies really fast. Next up, let's talk about safety and burnout. Driving 10 or 11 hours a day sounds easy when you picture a straight highway. But do that day after day in snow, rain, construction zones, and it really wears you down. Rookies especially struggle with dangerous conditions. First mountain pass in the winter, good luck, man. First icy road, some people park that truck and they say, nope, I'm done. And then there's also the fatigue. You're legally allowed to drive up to 11 hours a day, but that doesn't mean you're alert for all 11. Many new drivers push themselves way too hard, get in accidents, or have near misses that gets them out of the business completely. Burnout is real, and it's one of the top reasons why rookies don't last. Another big factor is training. A lot of CDL schools will push people through just to keep the pipeline moving. That means you graduate with the license, but they didn't give you enough hands-on time to get real skills. Then, when you get to your new company, you get assigned a trainer. And unfortunately, not all trainers are good, guys. Some yell, some don't teach, some want to use you as an example and as free labor. Living in a truck with strangers for 4 to 8 weeks is tough enough. But if that trainer is toxic and you guys don't like each other, it's absolutely miserable, and that is enough for you to want to hand in those keys. And once you go solo, many companies basically just throw you in the deep end. You're expected to handle it all without much support, and the truth is some mega carriers really rely heavily on this churn. They bring in fresh drivers, run them cheap, and when they quit, there's a whole nother class waiting to take your spot. That cycle is a huge reason why the turnover rate is so high in the trucking industry. So with all that said, is there hope? Absolutely. Here's the thing. If you can make it past that first year, everything changes. Your pay jumps, you get priority loads, you can leave the mega carriers and move to better companies or a local route. Your CDL becomes that golden ticket. Tanker, flatbed, LTL, regional. There are so many niches within the trucking community, and if you can find a rhythm that works for you, you will survive for life. The drivers who survive year one are the ones who learn how to manage their stress, stay disciplined with their health, and keep a long-term mindset. The first year isn't about money. It's all about building experience, guys. If you can remind yourself of that, you're already ahead of 90% of the people who have quit already. So why do 90% of truckers quit in their first year? It's unrealistic expectations, low pay, lifestyle shock, stress, burnout, and poor training. But here's the good news. If you keep your eyes open and you survive that first year, you'll be a part of the 10% who made it, and that's where the real opportunities begin. So if you found this video helpful, make sure you check out my channel. I am a CDL trainer here for TransTech in Raleigh, North Carolina. Would love to get you guys through school, be completely honest with you. But my email's down below if you want to check that out. And drop a comment down below if you're in trucking right now and what the first year was like for you, so all the new truckers can get a good idea of what to expect. Might just help somebody watching. But appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.